Nina, can you hear us okay?
I can, yeah.
Okay.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um, so we have a couple of members on Zoom, you, Cody, and Kelly. And then I know, Rosemary is not going to be able to be here today. But I hadn't heard back from anybody else, so I don't know if you want to start the meeting or
How many people are in the room at City Hall?
three, six commissioners.
Okay, I
Yeah.
think that's enough to get started, right?
Yep,
yeah, absolutely.
cool.
Great, let's do it. Good morning, everybody. I hope my internet holds. I am sitting in my dad's car outside of the Winter Harbor Library, mooching on some free Wi-Fi. Let me know if it starts interrupting and I'll turn off video to hopefully help the audio. All right. Good morning, everybody. We will start with meeting minutes. Does anybody have any questions on the June minutes?
I move they be accepted.
My second.
All in favor? Great, thank you. Report of chair. I have a couple of things I can talk about under number 6 for the grants. I don't have any other things to report. I would like to ask the city for an update on the canoe plaque if we have one.
No update at present.
Okay, thank you. And then I also was hoping to get an update on the budget for this year, but we can do that later too.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you. Let's do a financial report.
So, I will do this as your budget update. So I didn't include a printed financial report in your packets because, the account hasn't actually been updated yet for the new fiscal year. But we were not approved for any increases or new additions to your budget, so your funds are what they have been for the last couple of years anyway, $20,000 for grants and $2,500 for October. And those funds will all be available in your account within the next couple of weeks, so.
Okay, thank you. I was gonna say great. It's not great. It's a bit of a
Mhm.
bummer. But I'm glad at least that it wasn't reduced and we do still have the 2,500 for the Bangor Arts Award and October. So we can move forward with that as planned. All right. Anybody have questions on this year's budget? Okay. Moving forward. Committee reports. Grant committee. Holly, did I see you just arrive?
I did. Hi, sorry I was late.
Hi. All good.
They had no report.
Cool. I think we can circle back to the kind of continued conversation about moving toward a once a year grant giving versus twice a year. But I know we've talked a couple of times about how that might be a bigger conversation. We wanted to check in with our grantees and see how they feel about that, because that would move the deadline for all the spring grantees potentially up. And it might also impact fall grantees. So let's connect on that again in September. Cool. Cultural Asset Committee.
I have no report.
Okay, thank you. The budget obviously impacts that committee a bit more because we had asked for $2,000 to hire a student intern to do an updated survey. Maybe we can connect on that. I mean, I think there's not really any way to do that survey without funding. But I also know it's in our charter. We're meant to do it every X years, I think 3 years, and we haven't done it in more than 3 years. So if anybody has ideas on how we can do that without money, or how we can ask the city for money to do that next year, let me
We
know.
used to, if I may, we used to, divide up the list that we had. And members of the committee took a section and surveyed anything and any repairs that needed to be made or graffiti or anything. Then we submitted that to Parks and Recreation. I can't see that anything was ever done with that list, but we used to do it that way, so.
Okay. Maybe that's something we can consider again for this fall. What's the easiest way to get that list? Is the most current one the one that's on the website from 2019?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And that,
All right.
that needs to be updated too.
Okay.
Do you think, Barbara, you could share that list with actually, how about this? Can anybody who's interested in helping with this project let Barbara know over the next month, and then the Cultural Asset Committee can divvy up and see how many people we've got who could help, and then how many items would end up on everybody's list. Cool. Thank you. Right. Any other cultural asset things, questions? All right. October.
Yeah, time to get started in earnest, right, Nina?
That's right.
I'm laughing because she's been very kind and gentle and prompting me when she didn't need to be. So we've gotten going just yesterday, trying to update and upload the information we need to take submissions for the Artist of the Year. That's not the name of it, but you know, the person we're going to recognize this year for nominations. And you know, hopefully over the next few business days, Sarah's able to get that posted. And then we can share the link through any social media accounts we choose to share those through. You know, the previous committee had done a nice job, Nina, Holly, and anyone else who was involved in making it a fairly simple process. And so, you know, most of our work will be determining who those, you know, going through those nominees and selecting, you know, the person that's going to represent the city that way. At either Nina or Holly or both of their suggestion a few months ago, we'd reserved the stage door on October 1st to be the place where we would, you know, have a bit of a reception. So we have that. And now we just need to execute on all that. So, I mean, point is, it should be fairly easy. I say all that to also now say we do need people on the committee. Excellent. Oh, great. Okay, excellent.
I will have a newborn, so.
Yes. Understood. And so I think the nominations for that end on Friday, the 22nd of August. And so that'll give us a little time to get the event together. Stage Door as a cafe associated with the theater. They have a nice space. They can do the food, or we can do the food. It's, you know, we have some flexibility there. You know, the other thing I might want to think about, and I know from my short time in this committee that this sounds easy and it isn't, but it'd be great if we could find a way to maybe kind of highlight all the things going on in the city that month. I know you have an amazing gala on that first Friday of the month.
3rd of October, it's gonna be,
You know,
a big deal.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
At the end of the month, the theater has a gala,
Right.
BSO's doing a
Like
big
that
event at the end
too.
of the month. And probably numerous things with, you know, some of the smaller institutes, or not even institutions, a smaller level. So, you know, I'm hoping we can at least catalog that and try to figure out if we can partner with Betsy Murphy and her group to, you know, to get it out there a little bit. Maybe I can find find a donor to do a little bit of postering. I don't know. But something we can talk about as a committee. So hopefully we can get together toward the end of the month.
Great.
Anything I'm missing, Nina or Holly?
We have the map file still from last year that we can post again on our website. And we also last year, instead of linking to, or instead of creating a calendar of events, we linked to both the Downtown Bangor Partnership events calendar and Bangor 7th, because a lot of those October events will be reflected on those calendars already. So kind of making someone else do the work for us.
Love
Um,
it.
I don't know how many clicks any of them got from that, but at least that's an easy way for us to kind of highlight some of those events. Also without sounding or looking impartial, or partial, like we're highlighting some events and not others, because trying to like get a complete list of events together, as Holly knows, is a lot of work. And we don't want to kind of favor some organizations over others. Cool. The other thing the committee will need to do is select jurors. We usually ask for people from the town who are involved in the arts to be jurors. We also asked last year's winner to be a juror. That was Ben Lehman. And then one member from our commission to be a voting member. So that we have, actually, maybe it's 3 people of the public plus. So we end up with an odd number of jurors, usually, I think. That would be great to start compiling. If anybody has ideas of who we could ask to be a juror, please let Sunny know. Any other thoughts?
And maybe we've already done it and I just forgot. Have we gotten a plaque yet with a list of all the Bangor Arts Award winners?
No.
I don't believe so.
Okay, that was supposed to be done and
Yeah.
it's supposed to hang in City Hall.
Okay.
Just throw that out there.
Sarah, and correct me if I'm wrong, if we make a plaque, is that something that comes out of our budget for the year?
Yes.
Right.
That's right, we have the October budget, right?
I mean, let me look at the budget and see what I can do to maybe match or something with other funds to do a plaque, because that would be nice to have that, especially with moving back to City Hall, right? Yeah,
Mhm.
okay.
Cool. Thank you. We have the list of the previous winners. That part's easy for a plaque.
Oh,
And the other thing, also just budget wise, Sunny, we need to see how much the stage door would charge us for food. And whether that's something we want to do through them or if we want to do it on our own to be slightly more affordable potentially.
Yeah.
Cool.
I imagine they're
Any-
giving us the space for free.
I don't remember what we said.
Cause if they are, like, if they're not charging us a rental fee, I think it would be nice to go through them for food so that they are. I mean, they'll make money on the drinks that they
Yeah.
sell, but I think bringing in outside food when they have food and they're giving us the space for free might not.
Yeah, I don't remember where we settled. I mean, it's kind of the same, essence, the same conversation we have about paying artists, I mean, it's an arts organization. They don't like to give the space away for free. I mean, but they will. I've had a few events myself there where sometimes I've paid, sometimes I haven't, sometimes I brought my own food, sometimes I haven't. But they're always getting some money. And I mean, I've had events there for $300 or $400 that were nice events. So, I mean, that's probably the range we're in, and that's probably a reasonable range. And then through some combo of either rental fee, bringing our own food, or no rental fee, get in their food.
Cause we've done it there before
Yeah, oh, you're right.
at the Penobscot Theater, and I think they gave us the space for free and we gave them $500 for food, and they put out a really nice spread, and they did
Exactly.
non-alcoholic drinks, and they had it all out, and
Yeah,
I
so
don't
you know
think
the deal.
it's a headache, so.
Yeah, it'll be something like that. Yeah.
And I think $500 is very reasonable.
Yeah.
Cool. And that still leaves, I mean, 1,000 for the actual award. Usually we do a gift for about 100. In years past, we've also gotten flowers. Holly, I don't remember how much those were.
Yeah, I don't remember, but I do correct myself because I just pulled up the invoice, and the year that we did it in 2023, we paid them $1,000.
Oh,
And that was for the rental, the food, and the non-alcoholic drinks. So that's what they charged in 2023.
At that specific,
Yeah.
at that venue?
That was-
Yeah.
We did have the entire Penobscot Theater though,
Okay, that's a.
Yeah.
so.
That's different.
Yeah, yeah, I don't see that being the number. You know, and we can sort some of this out in committee if you don't have time now. I mean, I'm glad to hear about it all, but just wondering about other.
And I will say, I haven't looked at the application for a long time, but when we started the Bangor Arts Award, it was not only, to recognize artists, which we have so many of, that's great, but also supporter of the artists, of the arts. So if there's somebody could be nominated that may not be an artist, but is a supporter of the arts.
Yep.
You know, we
Gotcha.
see somebody.
Just a random thought, I'm always looking for event space throughout the year. Has anyone seen the Franklin House or Franklin Hall space? Really nice space, first floor of, you know, of a building over on Franklin Street. You know, very affordable, very nice. So if you're ever looking for a space for 20 to 70 people, take a peek.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Barbara, the nomination form language does still include
Great.
artist or art supporter. That's definitely still in there. And then we can also send, once the form is live, we can send an email to all the people on our list because we have the running list of former nominees and want them to share it with their people and also just our general artist contact list. Great. Any other, one thing that may not require design, but an idea we had, we can talk about this again in September actually, is because the Sidewalk Arts Festival happens pretty soon, like early in October, and there's usually a few vendors there who have been nominated for the Bangor Arts Award. I was thinking about some way to recognize them, like for them to have something that they can put on their booth that they've been nominated.
Yeah.
So we can keep thinking about that.
You know,
All right.
one final
Yep.
piece, Nina, I'm sorry that I brought up with
That's
you. So, you know, we all have blurred hats in terms of the things we do. You know, I'd reached out to Deb Newman at the Chamber. They do several monthly series, but I said, in October, which is Arctober for the city, you know, might be nice to use one of those times. I think a breakfast, you know, their monthly breakfast meeting, or maybe it's their lunch meeting, you know, where they have a panel and have some kind of discussion, to have some kind of discussion around, you know, the arts mean business. You know, kind of the business side of it, and had presented her, you know, there was a study done not too many years ago, Arts and Economic Prosperity, that I know Ann's familiar with. That essentially says, hey, this is, you know, if you put on your business hat and you're at a bank like I am or whatever, you know, like even if you're not, you know, passionate about the arts really matter from a business standpoint. Topic doesn't need to be that, but something like that. So she's agreed to have some kind of a panel discussion. We got to figure out what to do with that. Like who would do that, and you know, things like that. You know, that certainly can fall into the committee world if we wanted to. I think it probably best lives here. And we can talk
Yep.
about that when we find a meeting later in the month. So it'll be great time to really highlight everything that this commission does, that the city does, and the importance of arts in Bangor.
Yeah, cool.
And
When
the,
you have more information, can you share with everybody?
That's literally what I told you is that, like, you know, Deb's like, great, what do you want to do? Are you the speaker? Is somebody else the speaker? Is it a panel? So, you know, we just have to figure it out.
Cool.
Yeah,
and the nomination form isn't live yet.
I just gave it to Sarah yesterday, like at noon, so,
Okay.
yeah.
And we'll put that out on, you know, the city socials and
Yeah.
everybody else, yeah.
Okay.
We'll get that out. And just to add, thinking of socials, Betsy Lundy does track all of her clicks, so if you ever do wanna know, like, how many people clicked over, you know, to look at Artober things, she can give you that data, she has it.
All right. Any other October things? We still have time. This is kind of the big thing for this meeting and next meeting. All right. Grants discussion and NEA grant. My update here is that we got approval from City Council to apply for grants. I think this grant in particular with a match. As of right now, the way, and I did submit to an NEA grant this week with help from Chip at the city, which was a lot of help because I couldn't actually access the form, but we filled out with some help also from Barbara, I think, the actual form. It was not a small application, as I think anybody would expect being an NEA grant. So it took a little while, and I'm not super confident that we have a very strong application, but we did submit the application. It is complete. It's a little complicated because the project we submitted the grant for is the calendar project, and while that supports local arts and culture, it doesn't directly support any one organization. It doesn't support any artists very directly aside from those who partner with us. And so kind of we had to submit a work sample, which was a little complicated, but I used some of the murals that our grants have supported in the past. So I think for any future grants, I'd love to make them more of a committee or a commission project, so that we can get everybody's voices in there. This one had a very tight deadline, turnaround time, excuse me, and we didn't have any meetings in between, and I was in DC and out of town, and so it was ever so slightly rushed, but fingers crossed. We won't hear until April, so we'll just be very patient. I think in the in-between, and do we have permission from council to apply for other grants, or was this permission for this particular grant only?
It was for that particular, anytime staff or, or in this case, a commission wants to pursue grants, we have to ask,
Okay.
We have to ask to apply, and then once we receive it, we have to go back and say we're asked to accept.
Okay, cool. So, big thanks to Sam for finding this grant, and for helping me coordinate the initial let's go for it. If anybody comes across any other grants, especially with tight deadlines, let's share them as soon as you see them, so that maybe we can apply for some others. NEA grants, obviously being federal, have a very slim chance of like any of us winning them. So if you see anything that's maybe more local, more state-based, that might be more likely, I think it would be great to try to apply for a few more to up our chances of winning any one of them. We do have, the way we applied is that we used some of the discounts and some of the time that our partners in this project, Justin and Betsy, or really the Downtown Bangor Partnership, are working with us at kind of their time as in-kind donations. And so we have the match all in kind, because we do for this grant need a one-to-one match. And given that the city budget for this year is already set and for next year is unknown, we couldn't use city funding as a match. But other grants likely will have different match requirements and different all the things. So if anybody has ideas, let's hear them. Any questions about this grant?
Thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Do we
You're welcome.
have like a place where all of the information that was gathered for this grant sort of like lives communally? Cause I feel like.
I can share it.
Great practice, yeah, to like, and we have that stuff if we're
Yeah.
applying, so hopefully it's less of a lift.
That's a very good point. Right now, it's just a Google Doc, because they had a portal of questions that Chip sent me, and I dropped them in a doc to start writing. So yeah, I can share that Google Doc with everybody. That's a great idea. I could just make a folder for grant stuff. Any other questions? thoughts, ideas? Anyone else happen to really love applying for grants or?
Yeah.
I have done quite a bit of grant writing in the past, so I'm happy to help on future
Cool.
grants.
Great. That's really good to know. All right. Thanks, everybody. Anything else related to grants? All right. Staff update.
So the two staff updates that I have are really pretty brief. The public restroom art project, I just wanted to confirm with everyone that Mariah has all of her supplies. She's currently working on the art. And we're still slated for the very beginning of September for her installation. So I'll check in with her like mid-August to just see about starting the logistical planning for some sort of little opening ceremony type thing. As long as that's anything that you guys still would like to do. And I'll keep everyone posted on that. And
Awesome.
then oh, did you have anything on that before I move on?
No, I'm just excited.
Yeah, no, it's great. The other update is, you might have already seen online, but City Hall is going to be reopening to the public on August 11th. So we are in the moving process over the next week and a half or so until then. But we'll be down on the first floor, so you will no longer have to go up to the second floor to find us. And your September meeting will be in New City Hall.
Great. If any committees need meeting space before the September meeting, but after New City Hall reopens, should they email you to coordinate a room?
Yes. Yep, and we have several more conference room options with the new layout, which is really nice, and they're all on the first floor. So it shouldn't be difficult for me to make arrangements, but that should still all go through me.
Great. Sunny, that's usually what we do for the juror meeting for the Arts Award, is book a conference room through City Hall.
Great.
All right. I did think of one more chair report, I guess, item, sort of. Just a notice that AIGA Maine is a graphic design not agency, but I guess consortium, sort of, that I recently joined the board of, and they are hosting a couple of events in Bangor next week that are free/affordable. Just in case anybody's interested, I figured I'd mention it. There's a coffee co-working session Monday morning 9 to 11 at Rise. That's free. Feel free to stop by. And then there's also a freelancers roundtable about pricing at EMCC Tuesday from 6 to 7, I think. So email me if you have questions about that, if you wanted to attend. And I think that's it. Does anybody have anything else? This was a very fast meeting.
I have a question, kind of something about with what Sam had said. Do we have some place where previous information is available, like a shared drive or Google Doc or something, that people who are new to the commission can see things that have happened over the last couple of years?
That's a very good question. I have just been collecting the stuff that I've been involved in, that I'm happy to share, and I sort of share docs as needed. It's not an official, this is the archive of the Cultural Commission, but I can send a link to that whole folder to everybody. And maybe, Sarah, we can talk about creating something more official that could be shared as sort of an onboarding information doc folder.
Yeah, I think what I'll do is talk to our IT department to see if we could potentially set up an account on the cloud service that staff uses. That would be just for the commissioners. So I'll talk to them about that. I'm putting that on my list.
I'm just thinking that some of that information would be really helpful for writing grants. and things like that, but where I just joined the commission in January, I don't have a lot of historical knowledge. So being able to access all of that in one place would be really useful.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And if there's
There
documents.
is also a document. Oh, go ahead. I think we were gonna
No,
say
I
the
was just
same
gonna
thing.
say, if there are documents the commission feels should be on the website, let us know, because we can, you know, enrich the website a little bit better for your page, yeah.
Yeah, the website does have a few documents, like I think our charter is on there and kind of just historical information. I
Awesome.
used some of that for the grant application. But yeah, I think good idea to have kind of a communal archive of all of our stuff. All right. Any other thoughts, questions, ideas? Anything else you all want to work on this fall? All right.
I don't know if this already got announced, but I did see that the plaque at the canoe sculpture, the name was fixed.
Was.
Yeah.
Oh.
Wait,
I did ask about that.
To ask Tracy, so.
Yeah,
right.
yeah, and I did get an email from the artist, a couple months, maybe a month ago, saying, I finally went down to see the sculpture and I noticed my name was spelled incorrectly. Who do I contact about that? So, I'll respond by saying, go again. It's been corrected. I mean, the plaque wasn't like removed and fixed. They like put a, you can like, I mean, I know because I know that it was a misspelling, but there's like a corrected piece like on top as an overlay. I don't think you would know that that's like, wasn't part of the original design, but like I know that anyway.
Yeah,
But the name is spelled correctly now.
Which is the most important.
it looks good though. I mean, if you.
I have a photo on my phone that I can show you, but I was just happened to be running by and like I was checking every time I ran by. And then finally one day I was like, oh my God, it happened. So that's exciting. Yeah.
That's very exciting. I think maybe I asked about it before you joined the meeting this morning.
Yes.
Mhm.
Cool.
Any
I'm so
updates
glad
on-
that's fixed.
Yes,
Me too.
me too. Any updates on Pickering Square? We're our part of it.
It's moving though.
It is moving, yeah,
Yeah.
and so we did, the gentleman that was here at your last meeting, Jay Martin, he, has worked on a couple other ideas for that project that, he and Joe Pickering were wanting to work on, so, we're planning on having them come back to your September meeting to move a little bit further on that project and your participation in that. So that's about all I have for updates. I don't know if you know anything else.
Nope,
beyond
that's it.
Pickering stuff, but yeah.
Is there any sense they want that done before the ground freezes?
That's the hope,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But we are still thinking that the boxes for art probably won't be ready until spring, right?
Likely.
Likely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So maybe we can add that to the September agenda also to form a subcommittee, or maybe cultural assets want to take it. Well, actually not. If they're going to do a new survey, they probably don't want to take this on, but someone needs to lead on setting a schedule and process for selecting artists for that.
I
Cool.
talked to a few local art teachers to see if there's any interest. And they, of course, had those same questions, you know, when would it go up? When would it come down? Who would do it? How safe is the work? The schedule.
Mhm.
So it will be helpful to have more information.
That sounds good. We can also, if we build a subcommittee for this, we could invite local representatives that are not on the commission to that committee, right?
Yeah.
So like we could have an art teacher rep join us in making the decisions so that we can make sure that whatever we decide works for those we'd want to participate. All right. Other thoughts, ideas, projects? All right.
Just gonna have to close it
I-
on after 35 minutes.
Yeah.
Just gonna have to.
Yeah. You all get some time back. Thanks everybody. I adjourn the meeting.
Enjoy Winter Harbor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.